Hello and welcome to A Few Cancer at Mike's Journey. This is episode number 7. Yesterday we talked about acid buildup and how acid builds up in a cancerous body. Today I want to discuss the things that I'm doing and that I can possibly do to overcome that buildup. It's a long, really slow process, but there's a lot of things that I can do. What you're going to notice a theme here that everything that I talk about when there's an obstacle ahead. Today it's about acid and acid control. You'll notice I don't just say, okay, well, I'm going to take Pepto-Bismol and hope the acid goes away. I'm attacking the issue on as many different levels as I can to get it under control. And again, the acid, so I've been doing this for 4.5, almost 5 weeks. The acid reduction is just starting now, and I mean, it's been pretty strict for me, and I've done a lot of different things. So it is a long process. For a normal person, I mean, you can get acid out of your body very quickly unless there's an underlying problem, but for me, it's not quite that simple. So the first thing I'll talk about is I have two prescription medications. This is Nexium, and this is Cetadine. So otherwise the store name is Tagamet. Now for me, I use these two products for a reason. Nexium is actually it's called a proton pump inhibitor. You can look it up, but what it actually does is slow down the production of acid in your stomach. And what this actually does, this is called a histamine receptor blocker. This actually kind of, for simple terms, it heals up any penetrations where acid can transfer through. In a short story, that's how they work. Two very different medications to do ultimately the same thing, to relieve gas. For an acidic body, they actually go above that. They go out into the body and provide further defenses against acid and acid buildup. And these two products are chosen for me for a reason. Cetadine is not that common anymore. It came out in 1973. It has lots of interactions with other drugs, so you have to be very careful and talk to your pharmacist if you're going to use this ahead of time. But the interesting thing about why I'm using these two for me is they've both been used for clinical trials for cancer, and although they've been unconclusive, the trials were very, very small, and there's other identifiers that say that they do have a helping aid in cancer battles. So if there's a little wee tiny chance of it being a benefit in that way, then I'm going to take it. The other thing about these two together is they actually, and it's proven but nobody knows why, it actually raises your immune system a little bit. Not much, but again, every little step helps. So interestingly, that's an outcome of having these two, and that's one of the reasons that they were chosen for me. Very different medications, but ultimately the same goal. So the other thing that I take is supplements. So I've got a couple of supplements here. I've got this, and what this has in it, it has some neutralizing properties in this medication to help reduce acid, and I take these two, and this is the same, it's just got different neutralizers. And the reason why I take these is because I hope to some effect that they're absorbed better into the system. So the main ingredient for those is bicarbonate, and bicarbonate it comes in different forms, or at least it's packaged in different forms. But just for a brief lesson, bicarbonate is formed in your kidneys. It's carbon dioxide from your lungs that goes to your kidneys, and it hooks up with a hydrogen molecule, and together that forms HCO2. There's a short process transformation and becomes HCO3. But HCO2 is hydrogen, carbon dioxide. You got lots of that. So what can we do outside of the body that is bicarbonate is this right here. This is sodium bicarbonate. Household, everybody's got some. And I do use the sodium bicarbonate, and I'm going to make a little drink. But the dangers of that is that if you do it too much, it actually, the sodium part can accumulate, and you know it's got that pasty, what baking soda is like. So you can actually do some damage to your body. Every once in a while I'll have a lemon drink with that, and I'll just show that in a bit. The other thing I do is my diet. I talked about my keto diet. So I printed off this chart, and it's going to be hard to read because it's in the dark green, of course. This is the most alkaline. So ironically enough, and I printed off this morning, I assumed this anyways, but all the foods that are in my keto diet actually fall in this extremely high alkaline column. I've got asparagus, I've got Brussels sprouts, I've got cauliflower, broccoli, avocados, green tea, lettuce, celery. So basically all the keto diet foods that I have are most alkaline anyways. Now in this column here, way over by the acidic side, is the meats, the dairies, the eggs, which I said I have. But in proportion, I have, in the course of a day, twice as much of the alkaline foods as I do the protein out of meat. I need to eat the protein, I need the fat, I need the protein, and I need the fat out of dairy and protein out of eggs. So it's not like I can just give it up. And I can't have soy or soybeans or anything like that. There's another reason for that. So having tofu or any kind of soy protein just doesn't fit into my diet. So as long as I'm following the ketone diet, I'm only eating alkaline foods. And alkaline foods absorb a lot better than any supplements or trying to block out acids. That's the most effective because it's so natural. The other thing that's interesting, and I explained this a bit the other day, was citric acid. So citric acid, when it goes into your body, it transforms into this really, really high alkaline state. So it's your body absorbs that. So that's a good neutralizer for acid as well. So I have limes every day in my water, and I have lemons every day again in my water. Sometimes I have club soda, and I like lime in it. It's not that great because club soda is actually a little bit acidic. The other thing that is important is a lot of water, because like I said, that hydrogen, carbon dioxide, that takes up a lot of water molecules because you need that hydrogen molecule. The other thing for me that takes up a lot of water is that ketone process. It uses a lot more water than if you're using sugar source for fuel. So keep hydrated. I'm thirsty all the time anyway, so I drink lots and lots of water. Just remember that water, the first use the water is going to go to is to feed cells. The second or third use is going to go to this buffering out of your kidneys, which, you know, that's what you use to control acid. That's why water is really important. So the other thing that I use for neutralizing or alkaline is apple cider vinegar. Again, citric, it's acidy, but it's a great alkalinizer. So I mean, I'm not a very good measurer, but I can measure drinks, and usually that's probably more than what I would usually have. But usually I'm going to say like 3/4 of an ounce, 3/4 of a Scotch shot, but you're using apple cider vinegar. And then I take this stevia sweetener. Stevia it's good because it doesn't have that chemical aftertaste. It's actually, stevia is made off of a plant leaf, so it's natural. And on the alkaline chart, it's at a 9. It's really, really alkaline. So it's a good sweetener. I really recommend it over top of the chemical sweeteners that you can have. So I take one package of stevia and put that in there. And then I've got some cayenne pepper, which is just a nice, a couple dashes. And then I take some cinnamon, and I give it a couple of dashes of cinnamon. Again, cinnamon and cayenne pepper is supposed to be good for cancer too, but we're talking like minuscule amounts. You need to eat that for every meal to have any kind of effect. So that's my concoction to alkalize, and then I just fill that up with water and stir it up. And it actually tastes like an alcohol apple cider. It's not too bad. You can adjust the cayenne pepper to give it that bite that you want, but this is actually pretty good. Now, the other thing I do, and again, I wouldn't do this often because the baking soda actually builds up in your system. So I take a glass. So I've got some lemon juice here. This is a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, and I put some lemon juice in there, and then I take 1 tablespoon of baking soda, and I add that in there, and you'll see what happens. You give it a mix, and it foams up, and it's going to keep on foaming up. It'll get to the top of the glass, maybe a little bit more. I usually make this in a coffee mug, and then after 5 or 10 minutes, I come back, and it'll be back down to here, just back in liquid form. And then I throw it under the Keurig and just add warm water or hot water, and it's drinkable like that. It doesn't taste great, but I can tell you, if you drink that once in a while, again, I use the lemon to actually break down the sodium part of it. That's what the lemon is used for, but I wouldn't recommend it very often, that's for sure. And again, I check with my strips here. I said yesterday I have a hard time keeping above 5. I've been on this program for a month now. I'm running a little closer to 6, a little better than 6, so it's getting better. Yeah, see, this is gonna overflow. Makes a mess if it does overflow, by the way. So I'm getting up around 6 or so. And I just wanted to say that the average person, depending on your diet, I mean, this fluctuates all day depending on what you're eating, if you don't eat, how much energy you're spending, how much fluid you're drinking. But you would normally expect to see 6 to 6.5. Sometimes you get into 7. If you're healthy and you're a vegetarian, you're going to see it up 7 or a little above. I know just by the way I feel where my pH is, even without checking this. If you overdose in pH, which you can, and I have trying to overcome big acid uptakes, you get a nasty headache. It's dangerous. It's just as dangerous to be too low as it is to be too high. So if you're gonna get these dipsticks and you say, oh my God, my urine's at 6.2, well, that's normal. You have to expect some fluctuation, but I would say over a normal course of time for a normal person, you'd be looking around 6.5. The closer you are to 7 on a regular basis, the better, because like I said yesterday, that's the neutral spot. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. And for tomorrow, for Food Friday, I'm going to show you my alkalinizing salad dressing. It's quite tasty, it's quite simple, and the best thing is it's like 4-minute long video. It's already made, so I hope you enjoy it, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.